He laughed. Not the nervous kind, not the awkward kind, but the kind that came from deep arrogance, the kind of laugh that says, "I've already won, and you'll never survive without me." Sitting across from me in that cold courtroom, he leaned back like a man victorious, pen in hand, smirk on his face, ready to sign those divorce papers as if he was signing the final scene of a play he thought he had directed from day one. The judge hadn't even spoken yet, but my ex-husband was already tapping his fingers on the table, already grinning like he was about to watch me crumble. He looked at me with a smirk that sent chills, not because I feared him, but because I remembered how many years I had lived under that same expression. And then, with that same arrogant confidence, he leaned in and whispered, "Good luck without me." Like I was the one who couldn't survive. Like I was the one who needed him. But that whisper didn't break me. It built me. Because right then and there, I knew this wasn't the end of a marriage. It was the rebirth of a woman who had been silenced, belittled, overlooked, and laughed at for far too long. He thought I'd cry. He thought I'd beg. He thought I'd fall apart, just like all the times he mentally tore me down behind closed doors while charming the world with his polished public image. But instead, I smiled. Not out of spite, not out of pettiness, but because I knew something he didn't. While he was laughing at my tears, I was building a life. While he was partying, cheating, gaslighting, mocking, and throwing words like knives, I was silently, strategically, relentlessly creating something that would eventually burn down every false idea he had about who I was. I had spent years in the shadows of his ego, carrying the weight of his pride, pretending to be happy so our child didn't see the cracks. But in those shadows, I built light. I built strength. I built an empire. While he scrolled, I studied. While he flirted with strangers, I flirted with success. I started small, an online shop, a blog, a mentorship program. Nothing big, nothing flashy, but everything with purpose. He didn't see it. He never asked. He never cared to know. He thought I was just wasting time while he made the real money. But I was stacking bricks, learning from every failure, reinventing my future while playing the role of wife, mother, chef, maid, emotional therapist, everything except the woman I was meant to be. Until I snapped. Quietly. Not in anger, but in absolute clarity. I was done being his shadow. Done dimming so he could shine. Done holding myself back so he could feel superior. And today, right here in this courtroom, was the day he'd see the truth. The judge opened the folder, cleared his throat, and began to read. "Before we proceed," he said, "the court has reviewed both parties' financial disclosures." My ex leaned back, relaxed, sure of his superiority. He thought this was just routine. He thought his salary and assets would paint him as the provider, the winner, the successful one. And then, without flinching, the judge said it. According to verified documentation, the petitioner holds a net worth of $12.4 million. Silence. You could feel the air shift. My ex's face froze, and his hand stopped moving. His jaw tightened. That smug look melted. And suddenly, the man who had spent years laughing at me wasn't laughing anymore. He blinked. He leaned forward. He actually looked scared for the first time in his life. The judge repeated the number. 12.4 million. And I sat still, breathing softly, holding back nothing. Not anger, not pride, just quiet, graceful power. I didn't need to say a word, because the numbers were louder than any scream I could ever make. I didn't win the war with insults. I won it with action, with grit, with patience. He thought I was silent because I was weak, but I was silent because I was focused. Every time he rolled his eyes at me, I wrote another strategy. Every time he mocked my little ideas, I grew another income stream. And now, right here in front of him and the law, the woman he thought couldn't survive without him was worth more than he'd ever dreamed of becoming. But this wasn't just about the money. This was about value, about respect, about reclaiming the identity he tried to erase. He tried to tell me I was nothing without him. But the truth is, I became everything in spite of him. He never saw the woman he married. Not really. He saw what he wanted to see. a backup dancer to his spotlight.
But now?
I was the whole show. Every tear I cried had value. Every time I stayed quiet to keep peace had a return on investment. Every night I laid in bed wondering if I'd ever feel free again turned into nights where I watched orders come in, customers grow, and income multiply. My child will never grow up thinking that strength is measured by dominance. He'll know that true strength is grace under fire. That silence is not weakness. That a woman who rises from betrayal with dignity is a force beyond anything this world can stop. And now, my ex, he will have to live with the echo of the woman he lost, not because she was bitter, but because she became better. When the judge finalized the divorce, my ex didn't look at me.
He couldn't.
Because he knew. He lost a woman who would have built empires with him. But instead, he became the lesson that built an empire without him. I stood up, heels clicking against the tile like victory bells. I didn't look back. Not because I hated him, but because I loved myself enough to finally move forward. I walked out of that courtroom richer, wiser, freer, but most of all, complete. He once said I'd be nothing without him. Now I'm everything I was ever meant to be. And to every woman listening, let them doubt you. Let them leave. Let them laugh. Then rise. Build. Break every limit they set for you. Because one day, they'll hear your name, and it won't be from your mouth. It'll be from the judge, the bank, the billboard, the headline. You won't need to say a word. Your success will speak for you. I didn't fight to destroy him. I built to discover me. And now that I've found her, I'll never let her go again. So if you're sitting in silence, holding back tears, wondering if you'll ever make it without the person who left you in pieces, remember this. Sometimes being broken is the beginning of becoming unstoppable. Let them walk away. Let them think they won. And when you rise from it all with power they never saw coming, smile. Because that's the moment they'll realize they lost the real prize. Subscribe now if you believe in second chances, silent revenge, and the kind of glow-up that makes them wish they'd never doubted you. This is your time. Your story starts